Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Professional wrestling is packed to the brim with hardcore stunts and feats of the extreme, and while most casual Monday Night Raws are pretty fucking boring in all honesty, when WWE really wants to shoot their shot, they load that revolver with 6 bullets. That's how that works, right? Revolvers are the ones that take 6 bullets. That's Russian roulette gun, right? Fuck as if I know. I'm literally just a pro wrestling YouTuber. Speaking of, I'm D-Wick, and these are the 10 most extreme WWE moves that went wrong. Number 10, Edge's Flaming Spear. Is anyone really surprised that the spot with the flaming table ended up going wrong? I mean, of course not. It's a spot with a table that is set on goddamn fire. During their WrestleMania Hardcore match back in 2006, Edge and Mick Foley put on possibly the single most iconic WrestleMania spot of all time when Lita took a gasoline to a table that had been strategically placed outside of the ring and set it ablaze. After the crowd watched this take place for a while and everyone came to realize that it had to play a role in the match, and holy fuck did it play a role. Edge gets Foley on the outside of the ring and hits a spear straight through a flaming table, which to the surprise of no one ended up giving both men very, very serious burns. Number 9, Daniel Bryan ladders Sheamus. Daniel Bryan and Sheamus have had a long and storied history with each other, which is interesting given just how little they seem to have in common. Like, it's a muscular, pale brawler and an undersized, technically sound goat. Yet despite this, Sheamus can partially be credited with the success of D-Bry with the whole 16-second Mania match leading to the Yes movement. I mean, that's where it began. Their encounter at Money in the Bank 2013, however, is much less remembered, yet just as memorable, oddly enough, because Bryan spent a little part of that match swinging around a ladder that eventually connected with Sheamus, which sent him into another ladder, hand first. Guess which body part he ended up nearly shattering that night.
The WWE Universe.
Number 8, Ambrose's poor head. Another multi-man ladder match, another murder on pay-per-view. God bless Vince McMahon. This time, WrestleMania 31's Intercontinental Championship ladder match finds its way onto the list, and for the not-so-subtle killing of Dean Ambrose and his poor little head. Luke Harper grabs the lunatic fringe for a powerbomb, and you can quite literally hear the snapping of his neck when it makes contact with the ladder. It didn't literally snap, but his neck was messed up the next night. And then after that, there's contact with the ground, and it gets even more messed up.
Look out! Let's go! Oh my goodness!
Rest in peace, Dean Ambrose. You lived a good life, but it's for the better that you passed in 2015, because in 2018, you told Roman that he deserved leukemia.
Their opponent and these ladders. No, look out! Look out! Let's go! Oh my goodness! Somebody better check out.
Number 7, Vader's eye. So here's a video of WCW legend Vader with his eye, how do I put this? Literally popping out of its socket. This one has just a little hint of irony to it too, because the single most extreme move had to be pulled out to get that eye out of its socket. Literally fucking nothing. There wasn't even a move. His eye just popped out before the match. He's walking around the ring and then all of a sudden, eye out of the socket. Who does that? Number 6, the Shooting Star Press. Brock Lesnar took to the skies for the WrestleMania 19 matchup against Kurt Angle, and it didn't pan out well, but the pan certainly ended up out, as Lesnar didn't only end up making it about halfway through the move before landing on the ground.
What the hell's Lesnar doing, Cole? Oh my God!
But he also ended up having to finish off the match concussed out of his goddamn mind. The image of a soaring Lesnar has become somewhat iconic over the years, but no one can honestly sit here and tell me that they don't love this a little bit more upon every single rewatch.
I'm into the top rope. This ain't Brock. Brock doesn't do. What the hell is this? What the hell's Lesnar doing, Cole? Oh my God!
Number 5, Edge's ladder chokeslam. From the looks of The Undertaker, one could assume that being hit by a chokeslam almost definitely hurts to some extent. From the looks of a ladder, one could assume that going through one almost definitely hurts to an aggressive degree. Let's do some quick maths here, boys. Let's say that the chokeslam hurts about an 8 out of 10 on the Vince McMahon pain scale, and going through a ladder hurts about 9 out of 10 on the same pain scale. So we're looking at a 17 out of 10, which according to Scott Steiner's calculations means that Kurt Angle has a 33% chance of winning at Sacrifice. That metaphor really flew off the hinges. Just like Edge's neck did when he landed on the ladder that didn't break, and oh, look at that, he went full circle with the metaphor. But yeah, if you've ever wondered where the start of Edge's neck problems were, look no further.
Undertaker with Edge on the into the ladder.
Number 4, the ladder that tumbles. Why does that sound like poetry?
And Jeff Hardy early on. Oh, and
Poetry in motion. Look, I did another full circle. Extreme Rules is generally seen as a pretty stupid pay-per-view concept, right up there with TLC and Hell in a Cell. What's the point in stipulation matches if they're just another date on the calendar instead of vital endings to vicious feuds? Can you imagine the Attitude Era if every big worthwhile stipulation was lumped into March or August? That's stupid as fuck, but never mind, because Edge versus Jeff Hardy happened on this pay-per-view and suddenly my balls are busting. Now folks, let's all enjoy this clip of Edge and Jeff climbing up a ladder only to immediately fall off of said ladder that also fell.
this could be one of the major moments. Oh, no.
Yeah, there's a reason that Edge wasn't competing for a few weeks after this one.
This could be one of the major moments. Oh, no.
Number 3, Sheamus ladder Sin Cara. I'd just like to take a second to appreciate the fact that that's the second time I've used ladder as a verb, and honestly, you guys, I think I'm never gonna stop. To ladder, the act of slamming a motherfucker through a ladder. Webster, if you're hiring, I'll take my paycheck, please, and thank you. This has to be the single most infamous low-key ladder spot of all time. Like, obviously, you got all the big ones, all the Jeff Hardy jumping off of ladder spots, the spear off the ladder, etc., etc., etc. But everyone knows this one for some reason, despite it being Sheamus and Sin Cara. You might not even realize you know it either, but it's widely remembered as the most brutal fucking powerbomb through a ladder you've ever seen. And when I show it to you, you're going to be like, oh, that one.
Strewn everywhere around the ring. Sheamus got the intention. He's not going to do that.
Sheamus seriously put his all into this one. Like, you would think that Sin Cara shot Sheamus' dog 10 minutes before the match took place because goddamn. And speaking of goddamn, you're goddamn right, Sin Cara took a nice hefty number of weeks on the shelf after landing how he did because once again, goddamn.
Sheamus got the intention. He's not going to do that.
Number 2, Seth Rollins' knee. Ironically enough, this wasn't even that extreme of a scenario either. It would have just been Kane going through a table. That's not that bad, but the injury itself took place before he even went through the table. Literally, during their match as Seth was going for a sunset powerbomb onto the Big Red Monster, his knee just buckled. Or as I should say, and I quote directly from Seth Rollins himself, buckled under the weight of having to carry the company on his shoulders. And that is the single greatest example of a wrestler spinning an injury in their favor. And number 1, Sabu tears his, oh my Christ, sorry about that, his bicep. Sabu tears his bicep. And what will likely go down as the single most iconic ECW spot of all time, Sabu went for what I think is Air Sabu. I know he has a move called Air Sabu, and this looks pretty Air Sabu-y, so we're going to go with it. Basically, it's poetry in motion, but instead of jumping off of a mat, you're jumping off of a chair. One problem, though, his opponent was Terry Funk, and another problem, this is Born to Be Wired 1997. And problem 3, it's a barbed wire match. Guess where the fuck I'm going with this. Or don't, because I already spoiled it in the title. He tears his bicep. But wait, Billy Mays, because there's more. He didn't just tear his bicep. He tore his bicep out of his arm. His bicep wasn't inside of him. It's kind of a big difference.
Oh my God, Sabu's bicep has been ripped open! That's disgusting!
And And those are the 10 most extreme WWE moves that went wrong. What are your thoughts? Was that actually the air Sabu? Does Sabu somehow call that his poetry in motion? Am I a total fucking idiot? Let us know in the comments down below after liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and notifications, ring that bell. I guess that's the new thing now.